Hi, I'm Hilary Hahn, and I am here with
Bun-Ching Lam.
And you are what do you do? How do you describe yourself?
I'm a
Composer, artist, musician, how do you describe yourself?
composer, pianist, I conduct also, and do some art, make some artist books, so many different things. I also cook.
What kind of art do you do?
Huh?
What kind of art do you do?
I make artist books with my husband together. We've been doing that for like 25 years. So.
Like paper making and other things like that?
Yeah, he makes the paper, but I did some etchings, but that's sideline. My real life, I would call myself a composer.
What kind of cooking do you like to do?
I like French cooking since I've been living in Paris, so also cook Chinese.
Nice.
American, because I like to eat.
Yes, we all have to eat.
Right.
So how did you come to music?
Well, I was born and raised in Macau, and one day my father asked me would I like to take some piano lessons, because my father was a teacher, and then in the school that he used to teach, there was a new teacher. She knows sort of how to play the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the idea, since he's a teacher, he thinks that if I would have some skill to make a living,
mm-hmm.
and being a pianist is good because you can always teach piano for a living. So that's this idea. I guess he sort of thought that I was musical, because my family, I have 4 sisters and 1 brother, and they all seem to have a different vocation. Like my older sister is a nurse, and then second sister is an accountant, things like that. So I thought I was supposed to be the musician of the family. So that's how I started.
How old were you at that point?
Probably was 7, something like that, like 2nd or 3rd grade.
How did you get into composing from that?
Well, it's funny because the teacher was nice, but she doesn't really know very much. And for the whole year, I never learned to read music. And then I didn't have a piano at home, so I was practicing piano in the elementary school where my father and mother will teach, and in the hallway. So there were always people passing by, and then my father really wanted to make sure that I practice. And he assigned a person who was guarding, like the doorman, like one of the teachers. He has a little book, and then I was supposed to practice, an hour a day or something like that. And since he didn't know what I was doing, I was just starting to make things up, and I never practiced. Because I was playing all the music that my teacher taught me by ear, so I didn't need to practice, and I never read music. That was so I guess that's how I started my composing, but I never really composed seriously until I went to graduate school.
Was that something you decided to do when you started composing?
Well, when I was growing up, I was, my generation, first of all, being Chinese, the concept of composer is a very, very foreign one. It's only been in this century.
Why is that?
So-called professional composers.
Why is that, you think?
Well, because, Chinese music has always been an oral tradition. So the people who play the music, mm-hmm. also the composers. So there's no Chinese Beethoven in the Ming Dynasty or.
Right.
But even Confucius was supposed to be a composer because he plays the qi. So and then also the generation you pass on the music. So to be a composer, the idea of composer is a very Western notion. And then also as a woman composer, that's even more rare.
So
I just like to make things up, and actually the first piece I wrote some songs, and I sent it to the newspaper, but I never heard from them again.
Well, it's a newspaper.
Right, and since then it has been corrupted, nobody found it. And then the first time I actually wrote a piece seriously was when I was an exchange student to University of Redlands.
And was that grad school, or that was undergrad?
I learned to play the piano, and then I went to Hong Kong, and I was a pianist. Yeah. And then I had the second year of my college. I was an exchange student to California, University of Redlands. And that was the first time I ever went anywhere, ever on the plane. So that was very exciting. And I decided I wanted to take all different courses that I could. In Redlands, there was a composer called Bun-Ching Lam. He was quite an eccentric, smoked cigar. So when he comes into the department, everybody knows. And I just started wanted to learn composing. That's also the first time I had, sort of contact with real contemporary music. And he knew John Cage, and I played in the New Music Ensemble, and then all the pieces can be played together. And so I was very excited about that. And then I started to write. I wrote my first piece was variation on a Chinese folk theme, and each kind of variation goes through a manifest kind of a variety of styles. So it started up very pentatonic, and then gradually I ended with hymn. So that was my first piece.
Simple.
So
just like that.
That's like that. And then I went back to Hong Kong, and then I went back to practice piano. I thought, I really should practice, even though I really didn't like practicing.
Was the doorman keeping track this time?
Huh?
The doorman, was he keeping track this
No,
time?
there's no doorman, but I think by then. I wish there were a doorman, but by then I really realized practicing is not going to do me any good, because if I wouldn't have learned to play the piano before I was born, it's already too late.
Oh,
it's true.
So you went back to practice so that you could learn how to be a better composer. Was that it? When you returned to piano?
I think practicing composing would make me a better composer. Practicing piano is not going to.
I see.
Don't you think?
I see. Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. And so you've been a composer for quite a number of years now, I guess, then, because you started in grad school. So
yeah, exactly.
You've had your whole career as a composer.
No, I'm sorry. In UC San Diego, that's where I went, and it's full of composers, all write music. And then as a master student, you're supposed to choose 3 kind of tracks. So I chose piano, performance, and I chose theory. And then I ran out of things to do. So I said, okay, I'll try composing. And the first year I was in the first quarter I was at the undergraduate seminar. And then I wrote some few pieces. And then I got promoted to the graduate seminar, the second quarter. Nice. So I thought, that's pretty fun. So that's how it all started. I started with doing 1 line and 2 lines. And then I wrote a flute piece that's called one. In Chinese, it's like this, like a stroke. And then the second quarter, I did a flute duet called 2. That is 2 strokes. So I thought, see, if I keep going like this, by the time I'm 75, I will be writing the symphonies. So that's how it all began. But even then, during my master, I was still practicing piano. I had to give recitals and stuff like that.
You very clearly then remember your development as a composer. So how has it changed for you composing from the days you were a student to now, when you have much more autonomy but a lot more knowledge as well?
I don't know. I don't believe that one gets better.
Well, how does one change then?
Yeah, well, you can practice, but each piece I write, I still sort of like start from scratch. Like I don't know what I'm doing. But on the other hand, since I've been playing music all my life, I had some idea of notion what kind of music I like to write. So my style really hasn't changed, in the sense that I really still attracted to the same kind of sound world, same kind of harmony, and I like to experiment. But the basic style of my music tend to be lyrical and a lot of very slow things, and with a lot of melodies, because I love melodies. So this basic notion of music hasn't changed in that sense. But I guess over the years I pick up some skills and technique.
So you mentioned the sound world that you tend to work in. What is that comprised of for you? And the sound world that you draw on? How would you describe it?
Well, sometimes I get attracted to certain intervals and combination harmonies because I'm still very interested in how sound come together, and also the whole idea of harmony. Harmony should be something that is beautiful, something you just have to find the right notes. But so I have a kind of idea of sound that's those kind of sounds speak to me, I guess. I think everybody has their own sound world. Hopefully, each composer has like when I listen to music of Takemitsu, or like painters. If you look at a Rembrandt, on the same room, I don't even have to look. I know there's a Rembrandt because there's a particular kind of energy, kind of aura around that. Even though the historian might think this Rembrandt is fake or whatever. So that's somehow it's a feeling. It's not anything that is technical. But I sort of somehow get attracted to different intervals. So sometimes one time I was attracted to all the open fifth sounds, and then sort of impose. And then for a long time I was attracted to minor six. So I stack up this minor six.
It's like decorating an apartment. At one point you like more one color, so you might tend to decorate that way, and then something changes, and you're like, okay, time for a change.
Yeah, I like your brick wall. It's nice.
Brick goes with anything. And so, when you're writing, how do you actually write? Do you sit down with an instrument? Do you sit down with a piece of paper, computer?
Well, no, I sit down with papers, and I have sketches. I mean, I was just working on a piece. So this is my sketchbook.
So a sketch is like outlines in music.
Outlines, and then I have ideas. I'm working on a piece for accordion and simple ideas. I mean, sometimes I write in Chinese.
Yeah.
Sometimes I write in different languages, and sometimes I draw pictures. I don't know. I begin with some sort of notion, some sort of idea, and then it's very organic and it grows.
Your sketchbook doesn't look like it has any music in it.
Well, I have also a musical sketchbook too. I have various kind of verbal ones, and then sometimes I draw lines on it I don't know. It begins with an idea and sort of organically develop, just like planting tomato. Planting potato. You see every leaf sort of every day. So I'm not the kind of person I can finish a piece in 3 days I just work very slowly. So because it just have to, like plants, you have to water it every day.
Is there a satisfaction in working slowly?
Oh, it's agony. I mean, I wish I could finish a piece in 3 days and make lots of money, but it doesn't. No, I mean, honestly. I also like to fantasize, and I sort of meander. I just fantasize. Actually, when I fantasize a piece, that's the most wonderful time. Instead of getting down to the real work and put down, precisely.
That's the tedious part.
Well, I wouldn't say tedious. I also enjoy, like copying. I like doing things like that.
So this piece that you're writing, or that you wrote for the project that I'm doing, the 27 Encores, it's called In 27 Pieces, the Hilary Hahn Encores.
You better get it right.
Mouthful. Can you tell me a little bit about where that came from for you?
Well, last summer we met.
I remember.
And that was a lot of fun. I was thinking about you. I was thinking about your life as a virtuosic violinist, and you can play anything. You can play 150,000 notes per minute.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, I'm also thinking about, in general, what virtuosity means. I'm sure that you will have a lot of wonderful pieces. So I was just thinking about something, in a way, very simple. Something. The virtuosity is in the interpretation, and also in the sound, and also happening when nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's like a person trying to walk a very thin line, like the guy who just walked across Niagara Falls, and what kind of concentration, that kind of stillness. So I was just thinking about that. In a way, that's not very entertaining. I mean, in the sense of the world our high tech and pyrotechnic society. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe it's a challenge. Maybe you like it. And I was also thinking about last year. So there was an occasion that I played the Spring Sonata, the first movement. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking about, I want to write an Autumn Sonata.
Oh, there you go.
So your piece is going to be the rest is going to be happening, would be the middle movement. Oh. So it's called Autumn Solitude. I think I said it in French because everything sounds better in French. Automne or something like that. And then there will be, I think it has color of, it will be in 3 movements. Mm-hmm. I forgot the other movements. I think one is the color of autumn color, and autumn something or other.
So this encore, my first teacher always said that the hardest things to play are the slow things. And I think that there's a lot to that. The interpretive challenge of playing something that's not fiery is great. And so writing, is it harder to write things that are slow? I don't know if that translates at all. Is it harder to write things that are slower or faster, or does it just depend on the
I don't think that speed has much to do. You know, you can play a Bach piece faster or slower, mm-hmm. and it's not going to hurt it because mm-hmm. architecturally the piece is perfect. Mm-hmm. And
is there any parallel for that with composing?
I don't know. It's just it depends on what kind of music. Mm-hmm. Some people can write very fast music very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I write slow music very slowly.
Well, it sounds appropriate.
It sounds very logical.
And so can you just say the title for our viewers, the title of the piece that you wrote for this project?
It's Solitude d'automne.
Your French is better than mine.
Well,
and it's for violin and piano, and it's acoustic. And the time frame I gave you was 2 to 5 minutes. And was that comfortable for you? Was it
I think
natural to write?
I think it was I don't remember now, around 3.5 to 4 minutes. Depends how slowly you play.
That's the thing. That's the thing with a timeline. It can change. It can change in every single concert. It can change by 30 seconds to a minute to 5 minutes, depending on how long the piece is.
That's how it should be, because you're not a metronome, and it depends on how you feel about that day. It's a state of mind. You know, speed is all relative.
That is very true. Very true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate this interview. So, have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.